Into my channel Fox Business. The name is Ofusu Godwin. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Support the channel, let the channel grow so I can continue to give you free business advice and consultancy. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. It's a topic that borders more on competition. We're going to talk about competitive position and the various attacking competitive strategies and the defensive strategies that businesses can use to either attack competitors or defend themselves from competitors as either challengers, followers, leaders, and niches. And we are going to use the work of Philip Kotler and Singh in the McKinsey quarterly that was published in 1981. They identify 5 offensive and 6 defensive strategies that can be used by companies to compete their competitors. In this episode, we're going to talk about the offensive strategies. So the attacking strategies are the offensive strategies. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, so that we can continue to enjoy these videos. Now, let's look at the first attack strategies that a business can undertake to be able to attack a competitor. Kotler and Singh labeled these competitive strategies after certain military strategies. So we're going to look at the offensive warfare. Offensive strategies can be used by either small, big, or large companies, as put forward by Kotler and Singh in the McKinsey quarterly in 1981. The first attack as a company that you can do or issue on a competitor is what we call the frontal attack. The frontal attack. With the frontal attack, the business or the company engages in what we call a head-on attack or a head-on collision with the competitor. This is quite simple. The company produces the same product line, the same price, and uses the same promotional strategies that the competitor is using. So it faces the competitor head-on. Whatever the competitor does, it does some. So it produces the same product line with the same price and the same promotion. What I mean by promotion, I'm talking about advertising, sales promotion, sponsorship, and the other promotional strategies, and so on and so forth. But my advice is that this strategy can also be the most riskiest among all the strategies. So that is the frontal attack. The next strategy is what we refer to as a flanking attack. This is a very unique and a very nice strategy. And this is how the strategy works. With this strategy, you, the business or the organization, attack the competitor in areas where the competitor is weak, or they have no presence at all. The main aim of this strategy, or the main justification for this strategy, is to build up a competitive strength from where to launch a major attack into the competitor's primary market or the major battlefield. So we say this strategy does not wake the sleeping giants. This strategy does not wake the sleeping giants, but attack in areas where the competitor is just weak. In areas where the competitor is just weak. So for example, if the competitor is actually not in the regions and they are only in the capital or the federal capital of a country, you can attack the competitor by starting from a regional capital or from a district capital and then move gradually to the competitor's major market. Or it could be, for example, an aspect of the product market that the competitor does not really focus on. So for example, if let's talk about a telecom company, and its strength has to do more with, offering promotion on data, etc., and all that. You could also offer promotion on voice calls, etc., where maybe probably the competitor might be weak, right? So this type of strategy is what we call the flanking attack. flanking attack. You see, every competitor might have its weakness, so you need to identify the weakness of the competitor. It could be a geographic market location, or it could be a particular aspect of the product market that the competitor might be weak in. The next strategy is what we call the encirclement attack. Encirclement attack. This type of attack is a multi-pronged attack. The main aim of this attack is to weaken the competitor's ability to retaliate with its strength on the market. So as a company, you stand ready to block the competitor no matter or irrespective of the area or the product market that it tends to, or particular area that it tends to. And there are two issues here, or there are two strategies here you can use. As a company that is attacking, you can use one that we call product proliferation. Product proliferation. With product proliferation, you can flock the market with a particular range of your product all over the market. Produce plenty versions of the product and flock the market. This has been done by other companies, and they have been able to go through, and they've been successful through that. You can also do what we call market encirclement, where you expand your product into all market segments and distribution channels. So for example, maybe probably initially you were focusing on women. You then expand beyond women to men, and then to even to children, right? And other distribution channels. For example, you were using intermediaries, wholesalers, retailers. You can resort to using the internet, right? And do deliveries, click and pick, etc. That's another way of distribution. So with encirclement attack, the main aim is to weaken the defender, that is the competitor's ability to retaliate in his strength. The next offensive warfare, or the next attack strategies that a company can use to attack its competitors, is what we call the bypass attack. The bypass attack. With this strategy, it does not worry itself with confrontation, right? It does not worry itself. This is the most indirect form of competitive strategy, and as it avoids confrontation, it moves into new and as yet uncontested fields. And there are three different versions of bypass strategy as postulated by Philip Kotler and Singh. Either you develop a new product market, or diversify into unrelated products, or diversify into new geographic markets. You can see this strategy looks a bit similar to the flanking attack, right? It looks a bit similar to the flanking attack, but this strategy tends to look more at using indirect form of competitive strategy as it to avoid confrontation. Another attack strategy, another offensive strategy is what we call the guerrilla warfare. The guerrilla warfare. It's what we call the guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare. With the guerrilla warfare, it's not too ambitious a strategy, but it involves making tiny attacks in different locations whilst remaining mobile. So with this strategy, it is less ambitious and involves making small attacks in different locations. Right, small attacks in different locations, and you remain mobile. Such attacks take several forms. Some can be lawsuit against the competitor, poaching the personnel of your competitor, interfering with supply networks, for example, supply of raw materials, supply of component parts, supply of certain services. This strategy is actually seen by most people as an unethical way of competition. This is because it uses certain means to destabilize the strength of the competitor rather than fighting blows with the competitor. So now let me go back over again. We have a frontal attack, we have the flanking attack, we have the encirclement attack, we have the bypass attack, right? And then we have the guerrilla warfare. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Watch out for part 2 of this video. Thank you very much.